Okay, we already seen the regression two times, and again third time we are going to see the regression concept. The topics of these are mentioned here, like introduction, types of regression, simple regression, again types, making prediction, cost function, gradient descent, training, model evaluation. Same topics are there for multivariate regression also, growing complexity, normalization, making prediction, initialize, weight, cost function, gradient descent, simplifying matrix, bias term, model evaluation. Basically, this content which is shown over here, they are copied from the given link. You can just check it, ML cheat sheet, exactly as it is are present. Actually doesn't contain the regression in detail, but we will see in types of regression what different type of regressions are there, practically how to solve that, what difference are there, and we'll find a solution to all kind of problem where the regression concept is applied. Different kind of regressions are there, we'll try to solve them practically. The concepts are same there, but in gradient descent also we'll talk in detail with type of regression, even some concept like the normalization, what exactly meaning is there, how to evaluate the model. Already we are having a topic, we have seen the topic of regression analysis, their evaluation of different kind of linear regression model we have seen, but again we will see it how exactly it is done, but this time the things will be done practically. So we'll try to get into this particular concept so much detail. The topics which are shown over here, they are of 1 hour only, but let's go in detail one by one how the regression concepts are taken. And because regression and classifications are the heart of machine learning today, algorithms are of regression category and are classification. So once you got the idea of regression and classification, so it will be easy to build algorithm or easy to apply the algorithms on different kind of data sets also. So we'll talk about the types of it practically, and on what kind of situation what kind of algorithms are applied, that also we will see. Yeah. So what is regression basically? Regression is a statistical method that helps us to analyze and understand the relationship between two or more variables of interest, and that variables are of continuous categories. Remember, means they are of continuous type. Variable is not containing a specific classes or groups or categories that they are containing continuous values. So two or more. Maybe we are having one input, one output. Maybe having multiple input, one output. Maybe having multiple input, multiple output. So all of these possibilities will be there, and that we can solve with the help of the regression concept. The process is that adapted to perform regression analysis help to understand which factors are important, which factors can be ignored, and how they are influencing each other. How this particular factor, means input variable, is changing the output in what term. That's we are going to learn about. So before proceeding, let's try to understand the concept which are used in regression here. For regression analysis to be successful method, we have to understand two things: dependent variable, independent variable. Everywhere in all machine learning system, specifically in supervised learning, we need to understand that whenever the data is coming to you and we have to build a data model of regression onto it, so either we can have a dependent variable or the independent variable with us. So dependent variable is the variable that we are trying to understand or forecast. Okay, forecast it. Now with the help of this particular variable, means this is what your output variable is there. For example, I want to predict the price of stock market, what can be there tomorrow. Okay, what is possible tomorrow. So that is the regression, and price of that stock price of the company is the dependent, that is output variable present here. Remember. Okay, that's what we are going to forecast. And second, independent input variable. These are the factors that influence the analysis or target variable and provide us with information regarding the relationship of variables with the target variable. So input variable is affecting the output variables. That's two things are there: dependent, independent, or we call them as predictor variable or experimental variable. So input is predictor, output is response variable. Like that, multiple names are there which are given to them. Regression. Now see, here I am having the score, GRE score, and the CGPA are given. See, here the scores, and the first column contains GRE score, second column contains the CGPA. Based on the respective score, we have talked about the same. We know the percentile, we know the CGPA, how it's calculated. And now see, there's a relationship between them. There's a relation, linear relation, maybe it's possible, isn't it? That if you plot them like this, I have plotted now. On x-axis, I got the CGPA, which start from 7 to 10, and on y-axis, I got the GRE score, which from 290 to 340. And you can observe that the connectivity is linear. Connectivity to them is linear. So we can draw a line at the center of all, as we have seen in linear regression, we have seen in least square regression also. So here also it's possible to draw the respective line, and with the help of this line or line of best fit, a line of best fit. So that line of best fit will be perfectly created model of machine learning for this kind of the data there. Now this has given the birth to the regression. So regression is basically, we'll start with the linear regression. Commonly we are talking about linear algebra. In linear algebra, we are having the functions created. So there is a linear function, x is equal to x plus y is equal to y plus z is equal to some 10 something linear equation. So when you change the value of x, y, z accordingly, you will change the value of output variables. So linearly they are changing over there. So in regression, we normally have one dependent variable and one or more independent variable. That is one outcome variable, output variable, and one or more input variables present in it. That is called as a regression. So here we try to regress the value of dependent variable y with the help of independent variables. Regress it. Okay. So in other words, we are trying to understand how does value of y change with respect to x, means what factors are there which are changing the value of y, which x factors are changing. So here if we say y is equal to, so y is the dependent variable, output variable. For example, in the example that we have seen in the previous slide, it was the GRE score. Okay, and x is the independent variable, which is the input variable, which is a CGPA. Okay, so based on this CGPA, GRE score is calculated. Independent variable. So f of x means is a function that you are applying on x, that you are performing on x. So if you perform that function on x, based on that we generate the value of y, the output variable there. Fine. Based on that we generate the output variable. So there's a linearity present in that. There is a common function present in between them in a regression analysis. So regression of different kinds. Out of it, linear regression is very commonly regression where the function is present, and with the help of that function we just can do the predictive analytics using that. Now see, use of regressions. Why do we use regression techniques first? See, a regression analysis is used for prediction and forecasting. Prediction and forecasting both are almost similar. This has a substantial overlap to field of machine learning, and the statistical method is used across different industries such as financial industries. Obviously, very commonly used application of it. We have seen in the previous unit also applications of machine learning. In machine learning applications, we have seen in finance, like understanding trend in the stock prices. Yes, linearly, that linearity is present in that. Not 100% perfect linear, but there is up and downs, but some linearities are there. Forecast their prices and evaluate the risk in the insurance domain. That also we can perform operations. You can forecast it, can evaluate if I am spending this amount, then what can be possible income I will get on this particular price, that we can identify. Then in marketing, understand the effectiveness of market campaigns, forecast pricing and sales of the product. It's called as marketing. So you can understand effectiveness of market, how effective is that, or campaigns, whatever campaign you are running online in digital marketing. Also, if you're running a campaign on Facebook or Twitter, or you're running it on LinkedIn or Instagram, so how effective is that? Are you getting more number of leads day by day or not? That also you can find. And how many leads you will get after 10 days, 20 days, 15 days, 1 month, or how my pricing will be there in the future. Forecast the pricing, how can I increase, how the sales of my product will increase in future. Okay, on what basis it's depending. So when I increase that, can it be increased again further? That's what we can find with the help of this. Manufacturing, evaluate relationship of variables, define better engine to provide the better performances. So in manufacturing also many different factors are there where they are dependent on each other. Okay, if they are dependent on each other, so we can use a regression analysis method. With the help of it, the forecasting will be possible. In medicine, forecast different combinations of medicines to prepare generic medicines for diseases. Yes, everywhere. So when the things are connected linearly, so we can make use of it many times. These are the common 4 different areas are shown where regression analysis can be applied. but not limited to that. Wherever the forecasting of continuous variable is required, so there we are going to make use of the regression techniques very commonly. Before proceeding, few terminologies that we need to understand and remember while using the regression algorithms are here. The first terminology, and in data science also these terminologies are very regularly required and used. Outliers. What is outlier? Suppose there is an observation in the data set that is having very high or low value. Okay, very high value or low value is there as compared to the other observation, that is the data, so that it does not belong to the population, and that is called as the outlier. For example, in your class, all the students are getting the marks from 40 to 70%, and one student is getting 90% mark, so that student is outlier. Or ages of all the students are from 19 to 22, and one student's age is 35, so that is outlier, clearly outlier, which does not belong to the population, is an outlier. So whenever you build the algorithms of regression, the outliers are present, it may skew the result, it may not generate the result correctly. So to find the solution outlier, regression analysis is also used. I'll show you. There is a technique called as ransack regression. With the help of it, outliers problem can be solved easily. Okay, so in simple words, it is an extreme value which may not be the part of the current data set. So an outlier is a problem because many times it hampers the result that we get. It does not fit into the criteria. That's why it is an outlier. Remember. So most of the time, and remember one more thing to note, that outlier detection is also one of the pre-processing technique used in the machine learning. Pre-processing. So if outliers are there, it may again skew the result. Your result or output that you are generating will not be correct. There are many techniques, like there's a algorithm called as isolation forest. Isolation forest is an unsupervised learning algorithm. It is to detect the anomalies or the outliers present in it. Or in K-means clustering is also one more algorithm in unsupervised learning, which is to detect the outliers. So we can detect, even we can remove the outliers also. With the help of it, data can be cleaned and more effective model can be created there. Fine. Second is multi-collinearity. We have talked about correlation. We have talked about the collinearity also. Correlation is connected with the collinearity itself. So when the independent variables are highly correlated to each other, then variables are said to be multi-collinear. Input variables are correlated with each other. I'll show one example in multiple regression where this technique is present. Multi-collinearity. Variables are said to be multi-collinear. They are internally correlated with each other. If they are internally correlated with each other, then this variable or one of that variable should be removed. Okay, if two variables are correlated in input, then that variable should be removed because their impact in the output are same in that cases. Remember. So many regression techniques assume multi-collinearity should not be present in the data set. Yes, if multi-collinearity is there, then regression algorithm cannot generate the correct result because they are internally connected. They are internally connected. They are not connected in the output variable. Fine. Okay. It is because it causes problem in ranking variables based on its importance, or it makes the job difficult in selecting the most important independent variable. Okay, as I told, ranking. So in case of ranking also, so variable based on its importance, how much important is that? Both variables are equally important, remember, both, because they are connected to each other, just like date of birth and age. We have talked about the same in Pearson correlation also. Date of birth and the age are correlated with each other. If both are the input variables, so which one to choose first? That will be the confusion for the algorithm. So the most important variable cannot be selected in such cases perfectly. So it may again skew the result of regression algorithms here. Remember, that's what multi-collinearity problem is. Then heteroscedasticity. Okay, so heteroscedasticity is again one more terminology that we need to understand in regression analysis. When the variation between target variable and the independent variable is not constant, then it is called as the heteroscedasticity. Okay, for example, If one's income increases, the variability of food consumption will increase. Okay, variability of food consumption will increase. See, a poorer person will spend rather constant amount by always eating inexpensive food. A wealthier person may occasionally buy inexpensive food and other times eat expensive meals. Correct. So there is a different concept is there. Though both are persons, their income are different, but their output is again different. Different variations are there in the output. So variability that we call it. So variation between the target variable, the output variable, and the independent variable is not constant. Is not constant. So those with high income display great variability of food consumption. Variability I'm talking about, not the actual value present in this is heteroscedasticity. And most important terminology, they are called as overfitting and underfitting. Overfitting and underfitting. So when we use unnecessary explanatory variation, it might lead to overfitting. So what is overfitting? Overfitting means that our algorithm works well on training set but is unable to perform better on the test set. This is known as a problem of high variance. High variance, when variance is high in the data set, that time overfitting may occur. Overfitting may occur. For example, on the training data, the model is created perfectly and it is 95% accurate on training data. But when you apply the testing data, that time it may create some sort of problem that on testing data, accuracy is very less. This is called as the overfitting. And to solve the problems of overfitting, there are three techniques present in regression that also we'll see today. How do you solve that? Types of regression again. Okay, so when your algorithm works poorly, that is unable to fit even on training set well also, is called as underfitting. Okay, and it is because of high bias in the data. So high variance will lead to overfitting, high bias will lead to underfitting. Remember, and when the bias and variance are very less, that time it is called as the best or ideal fit. Okay, fit means in a train algorithm, that time how effectively the equation has solved this particular problem, that is what we call as the overfitting and underfitting here. Fine, see this. See, in the linear regression, basic linear regression, when you keep the, when you assume the linearity of the data, you can check it out here. My data is something like this. Okay, something like this. So a good fit is this one. Okay, check it out. When perfectly the line of the model is at the center, here. Okay, perfectly fitted. This is underfitted. Means if the distance of this point from the line is very high, so underfitting here. And if you just check this one, this is overfitting. Means the model is perfectly working, but maybe when you apply on test data, means every model is on the line. But if you apply on the test data, that time the problem will have again high amount of error, because model is created for this data. It's not a generalized model like that, for this data only. That's why it is called as overfitting. Fine. Okay. So this is a common terminology that we need to understand before making use of the regression techniques. Let's continue with the concept of types of regression. How many number of types, how many different type of regressions are? You can see I have enlisted many of different kind of regression techniques over here. See, maybe if you have heard about that, we'll talk about them, what the meaning of the respective regression technique is, and what's the application of this regression, and how they are differed from each other, and when they are to apply on different kind of situations here. Now you can see linear regression. So a very commonly used technique of the regression where one variable is input and one variable is output. Remember, linear regression means one input, one output. Multiple regressions means multiple input and one output. That's called as multiple regression. Fine. Third is logistic regression. So in case of logistic regression, logistic is the specialized case of linear regression. We will see this one also, how to do this one. But out of all the regression models, logistic regression is the only algorithm which is classification algorithm, which generate the result in the class format. Then polynomial regression. Polynomial regression is used when we have a curve. When we don't have a line, just in a previous example we have seen, base fit. We have a curve, whatever, up, down, whatever. The curves are there, and that curve can be generated with the help of polynomial regression. Then there are three techniques which are coming under regularization: ridge regression, lasso regression, and elastic net regression. So they are used to find the solution on, overfitting. Remember, one overfitting problem can be solved with the help of the regularization. So there we have ridge regression, lasso regression, and elastic net regression. In statistics part, we have learned about the L1 norm and L2 norm. So this L1 norm is used in ridge regression, and L1 norm is used in ridge regression, and L2 norm is used in lasso regression, and both are used into elastic net regression. Fine. And there is one more regression model which is called as outlier based model. It's called a RANSAC. So internally, if you want to remove the outliers, so we'll be making use of the RANSAC regression algorithm there. So RANSAC is specifically created to detect the outliers and remove them, and after that you have to create the algorithm of it. Fine. These are the categories of regression are. Now let's start with one by one topic. What is linear regression, and what are the other kind of regressions are present in it? Linear revision, again, a simplest of all regression types, that is linear regression, where it tries to establish relationship between independent and dependent variables. Dependent variable consider here is always a continuous variable, that is output variable is continuous. That's why it's called as regression. Remember, the linear regression is a predictive model used for finding the linear relationship between the dependent variable and one or more independent variables here. So if you check this equation, see, y is equal to x plus b. So y is your output variable, a is the intercept, y-intercept, plus bx. X is the input variable and b is the slope of the line. See this, for example, you can see here the y is our dependent variable, that is output variable, which is the continuous variable, continuous numerical, and we are trying to understand how does y change with x. How does y change with x? Correct. So let's talk about our example that we have seen in the regression analysis first. So if you are supposed to answer the above question, what is the GRE score of student if his CGPA is 8.32? So we are having a solution for that. What is this? Output variable is a y, that is GRE score. Correct. GRE. Okay. And our input variable is CGPA. Here 8.32 for example, and as per the line drawn, average line drawn for all of these points, see, average line drawn for all of these points is here, this one. Correct. So this line contains the y-intercept as 261. Okay, so when you move this line ahead, it will contain 261 as the y-intercept, and 6.8 is the slope of this line, 6.8. Okay, and if I want to find the GRE of the student, GRE score of the student who has gotten 8.32 as the CGPA, so it will be like the GRE is equal to y-intercept plus 6.8 into 8.32. So my score will be 317.57. Fine. This is your formula. Y is equal to mx and c, or here bx plus a something. By this method is calculated. Okay. So in simple linear regression, let's see. As the model is used to predict the dependent variable, the relationship between the variable can be written in the below format. Yes, simple linear regression. So yi is equal to b0 plus b1, sorry, beta 0 plus beta 1 xi plus epsilon I. Getting? So what is that? Yi is the dependent variable, that is outcome variable, output variable. Correct. Beta 0 is the intercept, y-intercept basically. Beta 1 is the slope that you are multiplying. Xi is the independent variable, input variable. Correct. Till this it's okay. But here one more term is added. That's called as the random error. Random error present in the data set. Fine, random error. So basically, exact prediction is not possible. See, if you are having actual data present at this point, but predicted data will be on the line. Predicted data will be on the line. Remember that. So variables written in this particular format. This is an error term, and this error we call as the residual error, which is already residing in the data set. Remember, residing in the data set. That's what is called as the residual error present in the variable. Okay. Now, how do we find the effectiveness of algorithm now? We have seen the regression analysis already. We have talked about how regression algorithms can be analyzed easily. So the main factor is that consider here as a part of regression analysis is understanding the variance between the variables. Okay, so how much variance that we are having, and with the help of that variance, we are having different measures of variations. With the help of these measures, it's possible to find the error present in the data or error because of the model that we have here. So the first error is called as SST, total sum of squares. Total sum of square, SST. That is total variation. So what exactly SST means? SST means it's a measure of variation of yi values around their mean y, around their mean. Okay, variations. How much variations we have? That is y. SST, SSR, regression sum of squares. Regression sum of squares, SSR. So variations attributable to the variations attributable to the relationship between x and y. And third is sum of squared error. Like we have MSE, mean squared error. So here we are not calculate the average of all, but we just add all the errors together. We'll see that how it is exactly done. Sum of squares, variation in y attributable to the factor other than x. This is unexplained variations that we have. It's called as sum squared error. Fine. So this also can be calculated with the help of the simple linear regression. So let's see one small example. How do we calculate the simple linear regression? Just a minute, I'll show you. I'll just open my program editor. There we can try to solve this. Just a minute. And with a data set which is beneficial for us to use. We have seen the data set in Pearson correlation also. Same data set I will apply here, and with the help of it, it's possible to do the predictive analytics with the help of the linear regression function. So just check this now. So I'll create a new file. Okay, now see, for example, I want to create the linear regression model. So I just want to import a data set here. See this. Yes. See. So this is your data set. See, I'm having a small data set with me, which contains salary of different kind of employees. Okay, their experience and their salary is mentioned in this. Experience and the salary is mentioned in this data. Take it. Can see two columns are there: years experience and salary. Fine. Total 30 rows are there in this. So for 30 employees, you can see data is like in the sequence it is present. Okay, so I got that data. Can check how many number of rows are there by using shape attribute. Can check it out. Fine. Now using our general knowledge, general identification, that's what I want to do predictions. I want to predict the experience of the person. No, I want to predict salary of the person. It means that my y output variable will be salary of the respective person there. Correct. So I want to decide what is my input, what is my output. So let's say X is the input. Years experience I'll take. Okay. And Y is salary. Okay. So this is how I just taken. And one more thing to note that X is in single dimension. So practically when I want to do this in Python, I need to reshape that to 2 dimensions. So I've made it to 2 dimension. See, 2 dimension means 30 rows and 1 column is there. Previously it was not containing it. And before actually applying, here we will check the application of correlation technique. Correlation. See, if I write df.corr, we'll check the correlation between salary and expense. See, salary and expense are correlated with each other 97%. When one increases, second will also increase for 97 times. Proportionality and collinearity. That's what we have seen. It's present between them. I think we have seen this example already. If you're just going to check the Spearman 95% a rank correlation, but it's okay. Above 95%, both results are there. So it means that salary and experience are related to each other. Fine. Even we can plot also. I just separated X and Y here. X is the input variable and Y is the output variable. Okay. So when you have to build the model, I'll just show you the plot of them. So when you plot it, see, so X against Y. See, this is the plot, and you just can check on X-axis. And on Y-axis. See, experience and this is salary on this side. So you can check it now. As experience grows, salary is also growing here. Okay, both. This is incremental and almost 45-degree incremental is there. So ratio is good. Ideal. Data is ideal for fine. Okay. Now we have to apply linear regression. Now basically we require to analyze the results. Regression analysis we have seen. We are talking about simple example of it. But here this is a practical real world application. Real world application is there that we will see. So what I have to do, I'm having 30 different entries inside it. So before actually using this data, I want to perform the validation, cross validation there. Just like trend test split we have seen. So to do this one, see, there is a model selection package is there. Inside that we have a function called as train test split. Okay. So with the help of this function, it's possible to split the data into training and testing format. 30 are there. Out of it, maybe 22 means 75% data I will keep into training set and 25 testing set. See how to use this function. So 75% randomly is done. So practically when you do the applications, it is randomized because it is sorted. You can see it is sorted according to experience there. According to experience, it is sorted. That's why I have randomized it. And you can see how many entries are there in X train, 22, and how many are there in test, 8. And most importantly, they are randomized. See the row number. Sorry, just a minute. This is white. See, first 17 number row, then 22, then 5, mixed. Element are mixed. And with the help of it, we are going to build a linear regression model. So, why we do this? Because we have to test that whether model is created correctly, expected value and predicted values are matching. There's a residual error present between them or not. Or we can identify the mean absolute error also. Predicted algorithm, and actually we are having algorithm, and even you can check that whether data is perfectly fitted or there's overfitting present inside or underfitting or not. Overfitting can be checked. Underfitting is already, if you don't use test data, then also if data is not perfectly created, then it's underfitting itself. Okay, so here I have splitted my data set in two different parts: training data 22 entries, testing data 8 entries are there. And now I will build a linear regression model. So there's a package called as linear model in sklearn. Inside that, almost all regression algorithms are there. So the linear regression is a class which I am importing from this particular package. Create the object of it, linear regression. See, created the object by using the constructor of the respective class here. See this. And now I am going to train the algorithm. Train the algorithm with the given. Let's train it. Regressor dot fit X train, Y train. See, 22 entries are given to it. Based on that, we have trained the algorithm with these 22 entries, and my linear regression object is created now with me, whose name I have given as regressor here. Fitted. Okay, correct. And now we are talked about in regression analysis. We are talked about R2 score, R square error. Correct. So the R square error actually identify the accuracy of this algorithm. Accuracy of this algorithm. Accuracy of this algorithm is like when you are applying input, when you are applying the output, then how they are fitted inside the model, that is determined with the help of the R squared error. It's which value start from -1 to +1. +1 is 100% accuracy. Okay, 0 is completely blank, and -1 is completely reverse. Kind of things are there. So we can check that one also. We have created the object, and now we can check how much accuracy, how much R square error is present inside it. So just check it. Inside the matrix, there's a function called as R2 score, which I can use. So let's use R2 score for Y train. Sorry, X train, Y train. Now see, just a minute, something is missing here. X train, Y train, it's -91,000 is shown. Just a minute. Okay, sorry. So to apply the test data there, we'll show this one. We have to apply the test data. So before that, there's one function that also I can see you, the regressor dot score. Here we can apply this data. Then we'll see R2 score, how to make use of it. You can check it. It is 0.93. 0.93 that I am getting over here. Means 93% the data is matching here. The accuracy is 93%. The score function will tell you how much accurate is that. And one more thing to note, that we have created a model on only training data. 22 entries, 8 entries are missing. They are unknown to the algorithm. So that entry will apply and will generate the result accordingly. For example, that result we call as the Y predicted Y. Predicted Y. Regressor dot predict, X test. X test entries 8 are there. Y predict. So what is this? These entries are algorithmically predicted and already our outputs are present there. That is Y test. Already we are having with us, which is not yet used anywhere. So Y predict algorithm predicted value and Y test are already defined values present with us. Now we can compare it. Let's have a result variable here, pd dot data frame, and inside that I will keep the values like actual. Before that I will keep the experience of that person. Experience is Y test, actual data is, sorry, experience is X test, actual data is Y test, and predicted by algorithm is Y pred. So I have combined all of them together. See, oh, what happened? Okay, this X data is required to be one dimensional here. Two dimensionally I just converted to 8 entries only. So 8 to 1 was there, I connected to 8. Okay, so let's see this. So if you print the result, see, this is a test data set, so we have kept aside. Fine, these are experience are the randomized entry, number 2, 28, 13, like all. Their expense is this. In actual data set, the salary is this, 37,000 for experience 1.5 years, and predicted by algorithm is 4156. 4156. Algorithm predicted a line on the line. Fine. Here for 10 years experience, 1,22,000, and predicted by algorithm is 1,23,000. Very small error is there. Here 57, 65, 9,000 difference. 63,000, 63,000, only 300 difference. 1,16,000, 1,16,000, only 900 difference. 1,09,000, 1,08,000, almost 1,100 difference is there. 1,12,000, 1,17,000, 5,000 difference. 55,000, 64,000 again. See the difference. Actual value which already we have and predicted by the algorithm, that's also we have shown over here. Correct. Like this. Getting. And by using this data, now we can check the R2 score of it. R2 score. So it requires the original data and predicted data. I can see it is 97% matching. See, R2 score. Accuracy of the data that you have predicted is 97.79% R2 score is there. It means that the model is highly connected linearly, means input output is highly connected linearly there. That we can find by this particular method. And there is one more concept called as mean absolute error. Means the difference between both, absolute difference between both, and average error of it. Mean absolute error. How much is that? See, the difference between both is Y pred minus Y test. See this one. And the mean difference is absolute value first. Where the absolute value, only positive values are there, and mean of all. Mean of all. See, so mean absolute error is this 3,508, absolute difference between these two. And even we are having a function also to do this. I have just done this by the equation here. So I can use a function which is used to perform this operation to find. See this mean absolute error between Y pred and Y test. The same number is there. By using function also we can calculate, by using formula also we can calculate it. So it's calculated like that. Check it. Correct. Mean absolute error, and this is the accuracy of this data. Now we have built the model. Now in that case, what is the value of m and what's the value of c? Okay, y is equal to mx plus c that we have. So y is equal to mx plus c. This is the function equation that we have to use it here. So what's the value of m and what's the value of c? So the value of m for this case is coefficient, this one. This is the value of m. And what's the value of c? Y-intercept and intercept underscore c. This is the value of intercept, coefficient and intercept. By using this coefficient and intercept, it is calculating the result. For example, see, I want to predict how much salary I will get when I'm having 20 years experience. So the data set which are shown here, it was having 10.5 highest data set. Now highest entry is of 10.5 experience. But I want now how much salary will I get when I'm getting 20 years experience there. 20, I will get 2,14,000 salary when I get 20 years experience. 25 years, 2,61,000. But how it is calculated? It is calculated with the help of y is equal to mx plus c. This is y and 25 is x. Okay, m is here and c is here. Now see, if I use this x into m, let's use this m plus c. Where is c? This one. Okay, mx plus c. This is already generated. Now if you check it out, this number and this number, they are same. This is the equation which is used, that is y is equal to mx plus c, and with the help of that equation the predictions are done. Remember, you change that number. For example, I want 16 years. In 16 years I will get 1,77,062 salary will be there. Here if you keep this 16, value of x, same number I am generating there. This is what m and x are for the linear regression. So value of m, that is slope, and c will be calculated accordingly. You are going to do the predictive analytics on that. So in future also, how much salary will be having, that we can find. Not only that, if you come below, then also you can find it. For example, minimum experience was 1 year there. I want to check when I am experienced 0.5 years. 0.5 years. 0.5. See, 31,000 will get. Correct? 31,676 will be the salary when I am having 0.5 years of experience. That's it. Correct. And now let's create the model. Let's show the data in the model format, in the graphical format. Now see, for this case, if my data is this, okay, original data, and I want to draw the line of best fit here at the center. So how it can be drawn? So plt dot plot, okay, x, and predicted x means value predicted according to x. So that will be regressor dot predict x. Color I will change. Okay, here I'll assign the label as original, that is actual, and here we'll assign the label as predicted. Now see this, yes. The green, okay, here we are generating y value by formula by using the linear regression for y is equal to mx plus c. So exactly linearity I am getting here, exact linear, which is at the center of all. And when this line is crossing here on this side, that is y-intercept, and slope of this line is your m value. And using this line, you are getting it. And what is mean absolute error? Mean absolute error, the error that is distance of this point from the center of the line, is called as the residual error. That is what we call as E, epsilon, present in the function of linear regression. And that epsilon is the error term, the error which is present. So algorithm is 95% accurate, 97% accurate is there, and accordingly you can see the same. So whatever you predict, it contains some error term in that. Error term is present. Considering that error term, we can check the accuracy of it plus minus 5%. Plus minus 5% means plus minus 5% plus minus 3000 rupees also. That's we can say. Mean absolute error. In interpretation of linear regression, unless we have talked about the same. Then what's the meaning of mean absolute error? So on average, we have that error plus minus. Means whatever the salary I am predicting, that will be plus minus 3500. Salary is in thousands, sorry, lakhs. 1 lakh above that is there. So just 3% problem is there that we can consider. And this is the model present in this. Fine. Getting it? This is how the common linear regression model is created. Even when we have seen the regression analysis last time, that time I have told about one concept that is the graph, line graph, linear graph. I have drawn them separately. But in Seaborn, there is a function called as regression plot. So let's see, import Seaborn as SNS and a regression plot where you have x comma y. See, this is the regression plot, x experience and y salary, and you can check it. This is the directly regression plot we can generate. Same method. Okay, and there is one more concept called as LM plot also, but I think I need to pass the parameters there. LM plot is used for data set basically. Data is equal to df, and here you have to pass x is equal to years experience and y is equal to salary. See, this is your regression plot. Same thing. Yes, experience on this side, salary on this side. So we can identify, and then we can use it for predictive analytics. Even in SciPy also, linear regression function we have seen, that's also used to perform the predictive analytics on this particular data set. Okay, so this is how exactly linear regression is that. So whenever we are going to use the one-to-one connectivity, that time linear regression function is used. Fine. So we'll have a break now for 5 minutes, and then remaining topics will continue after the break of 5 minutes. Thank you.